Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Manchester United AC Milan preview. It's the Europa League round of 16, first leg. It is at Old Trafford. It's a 5 to 6 kick-off and it's on Thursday. This will be the first ever meeting in the Europa League between Manchester United and AC Milan. We have played AC Milan on 10 occasions in the Champions League. There's been 5 wins apiece. I think the last time AC Milan won at Old Trafford was in the 2004-05 season. We did play AC Milan in the Champions League round of 16 back in the 2009-10 season. We beaten them 3-2 at the San Siro and we're beating them 4-0 at Old Trafford, so overall we won 7-2 on aggregate. We progressed to the last 16 of the competition by beating Real Sociedad in the last round. We beaten them 4-0. We're coming into this game on the back of a 2-0 win against Manchester City. It was goals from Bruno Fernandes. He scored a penalty. And the second goal came from Luke Shaw, and it was Marcus Rashford that had got the assist. It was a very good performance by Manchester United. You know, we should have actually had more than 2 goals. We ended Man City's 21 match winning run. We are now unbeaten in 22 away games in the Premier League. Solskjaer has admitted that we are too far behind Manchester City to be in the title race. Because despite us beating City, we are still 11 points behind them. But I can almost assure now we will finish in the top 4. Top 4 is our aim, because obviously we know we're not going to win the Premier League. But it was good to beat Man City, because obviously prior to the City game, we'd drawn our last 3 games 0-0. But I thought in the game against Man City, Solskjaer showed tactical flexibility. You know, he got it right. This will be, though, a tough game against AC Milan. AC Milan have won the Champions League 7 times. Their current manager is Stefano Pioli, if I've pronounced that correctly. Now, we know that AC Milan have got Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who is a former Manchester United player. When we had Ibrahimovic, he was actually very, very good. But obviously he did sustain a bad injury when he was with us. That's what obviously wrecked his career with Man United. We did get Ibrahimovic on a free from PSG, don't forget. Stefano Pioli is hopeful that Ibrahimovic will be available for the game on Thursday. because he's actually been out with injury. Now AC Milan have also got Kalahanglu. We've expressed an interest in him before. He's out with injury at the moment. They've got Ben Asa. He's another player that's out with injury. They've got Rebic. He's also out with injury. They've also got Mandzukic. He's also out with injury. AC Milan have got a very, very good goalkeeper in Donnarumma. It said a few weeks ago we was looking at Donnarumma from AC Milan as a possible replacement for De Gea because we could be selling De Gea in the summer. AC Milan have also got Tonali. They've got Theo Hernandez, who's good. They've got Diego Dalot. I don't know if he'll be able to play in this game, Dalot, because obviously he's on loan at AC Milan from us. Solskjaer will make changes in this game from the 2-0 win against Manchester City. You know, maybe Ole will rest some key players. I will be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game on my next video. The second leg against AC Milan at the San Siro is on the 18th of March. AC Milan, I think, beat, was it Red Star in the last round to progress to the last 16. But the Europa League is definitely a priority for Manchester United. It is a chance of us getting a trophy on the board. You know, we got to the semi-finals of the Europa League last season. Obviously lost to Sevilla 2-1. We won the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. We beat Ajax in the final 2-0. Our next league game is West Ham at the weekend. Now, obviously, we have got a few players out. Edison Cavani, he's out with injury at the moment. Now, according to reports in Argentina, Edison Cavani doesn't want to stay at Man United beyond this season. He actually wants to go to Boca Juniors. That's been confirmed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But there was narratives coming out earlier on this season saying that Cavani wants to stay at Man United beyond this season, and Solskjaer did say he's set for contract extension talks. I'd love Cavani to stay for another season because I think he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. You know, his hold-up play is very, very good. He creates chances, he scores goals, and his movement in and out of the box is very, very good. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. Donny van der Beek, he's another player that's been out with injury. Donny van der Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected anyway. You know, most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench when he's played. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. But we need to play Donny van der Beek more because I think he is a good player. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer made an admission saying that Donny van der Beek is unhappy at the club because of his lack of game time, but Solskjaer promised him more game time at the club. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid 35 million up front and there was 5 million in add-ons, and Van der Beek's got a contract with the club until 2025. And Van der Beek can play in like 3 different roles. And back in January, ESPN said that we rejected several loan offers for him because we was reluctant to let him go. Now, Marcus Rashford, he came off with an ankle injury against Man City. Apparently, it said that Marcus Rashford's going to have a scan on his ankle to find out how severe the injury is. Hopefully, it's not too severe. Paul Pogba, we know that he's still not available. Paul Pogba is out with a thigh injury. The last game Paul Pogba played was the 3-3 draw with Everton. Solskjaer recently set a new Paul Pogba return date. He's hopeful that Paul Pogba will return before the March international break. Yeah, but Paul Pogba has been a big miss because you can say we do lack quality in that midfield without him. Without Paul Pogba, we are too defensive. Before Paul Pogba got this thigh injury, we was getting the best out of him. You know, he was enjoying the best period in his Man United career since he rejoined. Paul Pogba had an ankle injury earlier on this season and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. You know, Paul Pogba could be staying at Man United now because it said the other week that Paul Pogba is open to staying at Man United after making a transfer U-turn and he's willing to discuss a new contract. Solskjaer suggested earlier on this season that Paul Pogba could sign a new contract, and Solskjaer said that Paul Pogba is happy at the club because we have held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. He has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. Said a few weeks ago, we revealed our asking price for Pogba, and it was £100 million. Now, Mino Raiola said earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season at Man United, and he also made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. Because obviously Mino Raiola's been criticised a few times and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. And he made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him, and I think this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. De Gea is obviously out at the moment due to personal reasons. So obviously that means Dean Henderson's going to get a run of games. Dean Henderson was obviously in net against Manchester City and did very, very well. Made some good aerial claims, also made some good saves. I think Dean Henderson should be our number 1 because Dean Henderson is now reliable enough to become our number 1. He has got that experience behind him. He endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And he's done well in the games he's played in this season. You know, Solskjaer admitted earlier on this season that it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. Phil Jones, obviously, he's not available. He's been out of injury for over a year, but doesn't get in the team anyway. Juan Mata is obviously out with injury at the moment. He's another player that doesn't get in the team now. So that's it. And Martial, he's just recently come back from injury. Played against Man City. Put a very, very good performance out. Had 2 fantastic chances in the game. Should have converted at least one of them. And Solskjaer said, Martial rediscovered himself. But if them performances can persist for Martial, then I'll change my perception on him and say, yeah, don't sell Martial in the summer. Keep him potentially past the summer, because I've been saying throughout the course of this season, we need to sell Martial in the summer. He's not good enough. And a lot of United fans have said it, because he has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Bruno Fernandes, he probably needs a rest at some point because he's played a hell of a lot of games for Man United. So there you go. And you've just seen my recent video I did. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is here to stay, because Man United are set to hand him a new 3-year contract. The board are backing Solskjaer, because Woodward did recently make a statement saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. It said earlier on this season that Solskjaer's future was actually in doubt because he admitted that nobody has spoke to him over a new contract. Ole is into the final 18 months of his current contract. This year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Not so long ago, Solskjaer warned Man United fans that we won't be very active in the summer transfer window due to the pandemic. Solskjaer said he's only interested in bringing in players that would be a perfect fit for the club. And I think a new centre-back and a new forward are the 2 priorities. But the board must back Solskjaer in the summer, because I don't think the board have backed Solskjaer enough as yet. And, Solskjaer's endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's spent around £260 million. So he has made good signings, brought some young players into the club as well. I do like the way Solskjaer's promoted the youth, but as yet, he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. And Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, and he did say towards the end of last year he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And even when we was enjoying them bad periods under Ole, Woodward came out and assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job was safe, because our board, I've got a soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. And Solskjaer recently made a patience plea. He said Manchester United do need more time. But I'm expected to make around 4 signings in the summer. There's been more narratives coming out regarding Erling Haaland today. Man United are in the race for him. Haman, the former Liverpool midfielder, has said that Erling Haaland would suit Man United better than Manchester City. He's actually explained why. Erling Haaland is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's #1 transfer priority for the summer. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that, he was keeping in touch with Erling Haaland, and he also said he's following Erling Haaland's progress. Be good to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reunite with the player, but there's a lot of clubs that have been in for him. Chelsea are one of those clubs. Chelsea actually said they're confident they can get Erling Haaland. And Chelsea apparently were willing to offer him a financial package. But apparently Erling Haaland isn't interested in going to Chelsea. Man City have been in for him. Liverpool have been in for him. Sky Sports have said today that Bayern Munich have not ruled out a move for Haaland. Mini Orioli, his agent, said the other week that there's only 4 Premier League clubs that can afford him. Since Haaland's arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's got a contract with Dortmund till 2024. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him in January of last year. He does have a £68 million release clause, but that doesn't become active until next year. If Dortmund sell him in the summer, they'll demand in the excess of £100 million. But I'd certainly take him at Man United. I really, really would, because he would assure his goals, would Erling Haaland, and he has still got a lot of development in him. You know, there's still a chance we could sign Jadon Sancho in the summer. You already know the news on Rafinha. You know the news on Raphael Varane. Recent narratives have said that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Raphael Varane to Man United in the summer. He's valued at around £61 million. OK Dairo recently said that Real Madrid reduced their asking price for Raphael Varane to £43 million. And back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. The AS said the other week that talks over extending Raphael Varane's deal have not settled. Raphael Varane has been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them like 10 years now. You know, he's won 18 major honours and he's made over 300 appearances. And I'd certainly take him because he's highly experienced, he's 27, he's a world-class centre-half, and he'd go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But it was a disappointing January transfer window for us because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. But Solskjaer said a few times during the January transfer window that he said he wasn't expecting any signings. We was focusing a lot more on the outgoings in January rather than the incomings. And like I said, we're going to offload players in the summer. So obviously in that aspect will generate money and that'll help us with our rebuilding process. Like I said, there's a good chance Mata will leave in the summer. Matic could leave in the summer. I want Jones to leave in the summer. I'm expecting Romero to leave the club. I said I want Lindelof out in the summer. Lindelof put a good performance out against City, and if he can persist them performances like he did against City, then I'll change my perception on him and say, yeah, keep Lindelof potentially past the summer. There's actually been rumours as well of Axel Tuanzebe going out on loan because he doesn't get in our 11. And De Gea, you know, he's another one that could be sold in the summer. You know, we value him at £50 million. Recently said from The Sun that PSG are actually interested in De Gea. But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said, he's not the long-term manager for Man United. I think a lot of Man United fans will agree with me on that aspect. You know, despite us beating City recently, that doesn't change my perception on that. You know, you can't just say, oh, Solskjaer's long-term manager after one good result. You know, good results and good performances have got to persist. You know, you can't just do it for one game. You know, a lot of United fans have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. You know, I think Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the football club, and he probably will be given another season. I think Solskjaer's got to win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. And like I've already said, the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. In some games, Solskjaer shows tactical flexibility. He needs to show tactical flexibility persistently though, because there's been a lot of games where Solskjaer's been too tactically naive, you know, especially in a lot of the big games. And I did say, didn't I, decision making is one of my biggest concerns about him. Another one of my big concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree. That doesn't mean he can't succeed at Man United. But reflecting now on Ole's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. He's been Man United manager now over 2 years. You know, we appointed him in December 2018. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. I heard a lot of United fans saying we give him the job too soon. And some United fans said we made a mistake giving him the job. You know, maybe we should have waited until the end of that season to decide or not whether to give him the job. But I understand why we give him the job permanently, because he did very, very well in his first 3 months as the interim manager. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. And we've had very good periods under Ole, where we've actually been consistent, but we've also had very, very bad periods under him where he could have turned around and said, yes, Solskjaer was lucky not to be sacked. And disregarding being a club legend, you can probably say he wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now, but he has been criticised a lot. We've got to credit him in some aspects, you know, we're second in the Premier League. Shame that we're not in the title race, you know, if we hadn't dropped so many points, yeah, and would have still been in this title race. At one point, though, Solskjaer got us top of the league for the first time in like 7.5 years. We've got a fantastic away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We're in the FA Cup quarter-finals. We're in the Europa League last 16. You know, Ole did well last season in his first full season at the club. Got us qualification for the Champions League, got us third, and he guided us to 3 semi-finals. And Solskjaer has beaten some big managers as Man United manager. I think he's beaten Guardiola now, is it 5 times? Beaten Thomas Tuchel twice, when he was obviously PSG manager Tuchel. You know, Solskjaer's beaten Nagelsmann. He's also beaten Jose Mourinho. You know, beating Jurgen Klopp in the FA Cup. So there you go. Mistakes have been made in the last 7.5 years. That's why we haven't been so consistent. Because like I've said, our recruitment's been poor for a while now. We've overpaid for players in recent years. Yeah, in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. Because I said the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson retired. That was David Moyes. Sacked him after 10 months. He's the worst manager we've ever had. We sacked Van Gaal after 2 years. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season at the club. So there you go. So anyway, guys, on my next video, I'll be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.